facing a huge EV crisis, and it could lead to the giant car maker into closing its doors forever. The VW CEO warned the entire EV industry when he said, "The roof is on fire. This is the final wake-up call." VW is facing massive consumer backlash, not being able to deliver on their EV promises, firing production workers, dumping more than 350 cars in graveyards, and losing all their sales to Tesla in just one single year. This is nothing short of catastrophic, folks, and it will affect the entire auto industry. In some areas, their cars have such poor sales that they've even had to halt production entirely. Why is the VW CEO pushing EVs so heavily despite no demand? Why did Volkswagen leave thousands of cars in the desert to rust? And will they be able to survive tough competition? You think you know what's going on, but trust me, you have no idea. So here's what exactly happened. The Volkswagen Group does not want combustion engines to die, but is being forced to make EVs, and their dual focus is now costing them billions in dollars in losses. The automotive industry was left in shockwaves as Volkswagen's CEO Thomas Schaefer issued a dire warning to the company's top executives. In an address that has since gone viral, Schaefer said, "This is the final wake-up call, signaling a drastic spending freeze." The urgency in Schaefer's voice was palpable as he addressed over 2,000 senior managers in an hour-long meeting, stating, "The roof is on fire. We are letting the costs run too high in many areas," Schaefer said during the online management meeting. Volkswagen has emerged as the most heavily indebted company in the world, with a staggering debt of $192 billion US. To put this into perspective, this colossal debt is almost equivalent to the entire GDP of nations like South Africa or Hungary. Volkswagen isn't the only German automaker grappling with enormous debt, though. Daimler and BMW, two of Germany's automotive titans, also feature in the top 10 list of the world's most indebted companies, with debts of $151 billion and $114 billion respectively. And with losses from their auto department rising up, the situation for VW is only getting worse. And remember, in the middle of all this, they even had to leave 350,000 cars in the desert to rust. But why exactly? Keep watching for a couple more minutes to find out. However, the challenges VW faces aren't merely internal or operational. The external market dynamics present their own set of hurdles. Despite a 48% year-over-year increase in all electric vehicle sales, amounting to 321,600 in the first half of the year, VW saw a dip in EV sales in the Chinese market. This is particularly concerning given that the Volkswagen Group gains around 40% of its revenue from China. As VW heavily invests in EV technology and production infrastructure, it continues to develop ICE models to meet stringent emission and safety regulations. This dual focus is straining the company's resources. The downturn in sales in China, where VW has to discount many of its most profitable models to remain competitive, only adds to this pressure. They're going to launch some cheaper models below $25,000 too, something which I'll tell you about towards the end of this video. Over 300,000 diesel cars, a haunting reminder of the company's scandalous practices, are stored across 37 facilities in the US. This vast automotive purgatory is the result of Volkswagen's infamous 2015 emissions scandal, where the company was found to be using software techniques to cheat emissions tests, and the aftermath, a staggering $7.4 billion in buyback settlements and the mammoth task of storing these recalled vehicles. These diesel relics are scattered across various locations, including a desert near Victorville, California, a former football stadium in suburban Detroit, and an old paper mill in Minnesota. A further ban from the EU on combustion engines has further caused big losses. But did you know that EVs are now in trouble too? By 2030, the EU anticipates 30 million electric cars on European roads. But with this surge comes the inevitable question of battery disposal. The majority of electric vehicles use lithium-ion batteries, which are significantly different from traditional lead-acid batteries found in conventional cars. These EV batteries are not only larger and heavier, but also contain hazardous materials. If mishandled, they can explode. Shockingly, only about 5% of these batteries are currently recycled globally. Nissan is repurposing old batteries from its Leaf cars for internal logistics, while Volkswagen has opened its first recycling plant in Salzgitter, Germany. Renault, in collaboration with Veolia and Solvay, is also recycling all its electric car batteries. Bloomberg's recent report highlighted a significant decline in the demand for electric cars in Germany. This downturn is primarily attributed to the German government's decision to end EV subsidies for business customers, a segment that constitutes a large portion of the new car market in Germany. This decision triggered a 171% surge in EV sales in August, as customers hurried to avail the subsidies before they ceased. However, post-subsidy, sales have plummeted, especially impacting Volkswagen, given that 70% of the electric cars manufactured in Zwickau are bought by business customers. The repercussions of this decline are evident. Production of the Volkswagen ID.3 and Cupra-born electric models will be reduced at the company's primary EV factory in Zwickau until mid-October. Furthermore, the assembly of the ID.3 at the glass factory in Dresden will halt for the initial 2 weeks of October. The ripple effects of this production cut are significant. Volkswagen announced that it would be releasing 269 temporary workers in Zwickau once their one-year contracts conclude. Additionally, the fate of approximately 2,000 more temporary staff hangs in the balance. The company's decision to cancel its plans for a new $2 billion factory in Wolfsburg further underscores the challenges it faces. Originally, under the leadership of Herbert Diess, Volkswagen had ambitious plans for a new electric car architecture named Trinity. This included the construction of a new factory in Wolfsburg, envisioned to rival Tesla's factory in Grünheide in terms of efficiency and productivity. However, with Oliver Blume replacing Diess, a comprehensive review of the Trinity program and the proposed new factory was initiated. The outcome? A unanimous decision by the 20 members of the Volkswagen Board of Management to abandon the plans for the new factory. The company plans to ramp up the production of the ID.3 in 2023 at the Zwickau factory. Additionally, the Wolfsburg factory will be responsible for producing a new all-electric SUV for the high-volume A segment starting in 2026. This factory will also continue to produce the popular Volkswagen Golf and the next-generation Tiguan. In China, Volkswagen's largest market by revenue, the company was overtaken by BYD as the top-selling car brand earlier this year. The setback prompted Volkswagen to reduce the prices of its ID.3 and ID.4 models in the region, further cutting down their profits. A significant problem in China is VW's agency model, which was implemented alongside the introduction of its ID series. This model, while cost-effective, restricts dealers from adjusting prices. A VW sales representative was quoted saying, "The manufacturer cannot sell directly. That becomes clear in times like these," highlighting that the electric models are simply too expensive. Reports suggest that the high-order backlog is merely a smokescreen, masking the underlying low demand. The company confirmed that the production of the new SSP-based EVs would be integrated into the existing and modernized structures of its primary Wolfsburg plant. This includes the fully electric VW Golf MK9, which is being positioned as a high-volume model. In addition to this, VW has plans to produce a new EV model at Wolfsburg, which is speculated to be an electric version of the Tiguan. Furthermore, the Wolfsburg plant will also oversee the production of the Tiguan Allspace successor in 2025. One of the most significant announcements is the confirmation of an all-electric SUV for the high-volume A segment, set to begin production in 2026. This model, potentially named the VW ID.1, is expected to be the new entry-level model in VW's EV lineup. Positioned below the upcoming ID.2, it aims to replace the aging E-Up with a starting price of under $21,000. VW has now launched its Accelerate Forward program, aiming to achieve long-term profitability and performance. This ambitious strategy seeks to double VW's passenger brand profit margins from 3% to 6.5%. VW is targeting an improvement in earnings by a staggering $11.2 billion. The company's approach is twofold, focusing on higher volume models to streamline production and drastically reducing the number of variants to optimize efficiency. A prime example of this new direction is the ID.7, which has a lot fewer configuration options compared to its predecessor, the Golf 7 model. VW even introduced a limited-time offer on its ID.3 electric car in China, so they will now be reducing prices and making cheaper cars to suit the market. Keeping the problems aside, this year has been going pretty well for VW. If we interpolate their sales so far, we can see that they might close this year on a positive note. It won't be a huge improvement from last year, but with the new cars launching soon, we might see the German giant back at its top spot again. Do you think Volkswagen will be able to beat Tesla in terms of EV sales? Let me know down in the comments below. I just uploaded a video about groundbreaking news that could shake up the entire EV industry. Do check it out if you want to be truly shocked by what's about to happen with EVs.